My name? My name is Brandon 4Loko. But you already know that. Alright guys, I'm giving you a deck profile on Watts. Alright, I think right now in this metagame, Watts are freaking amazing. I just ran this at my locals. I went 4-1. Pretty much everybody that I played the top decks, such as Plants, Dark Worlds, Agents, I 2-0'd them. The only thing I lost to was a Hero anti-meta deck, because Skill Drain hurts this deck. But I'm going to give you guys a deck profile. As you can see already, without me showing you everything, there is no tour guide in this deck. So for those on YouTube that's complaining about tour guides in every deck, this is a non-tour guide deck that actually is still competitive to an extent. I'm going to be making some changes to it so that it can be a little bit more competitive, but I'm going to show you version 1 of what I was just running. Alright, so first we're going to start off with 3 Watt Cobra. Just came out in Photon Shockwave. What Watt Cobra pretty much does is, when he attacks directly and inflicts battle damage, he has a Stratos effect, so you can go ahead and you can search any Watt in your deck. So you have to have 3 of those. Then we have the MVP of the deck, Watt Giraffe. Watt Giraffe is so freaking amazing against so many decks, it's ridiculous. Especially against Agents. Pretty much when he attacks directly, and he can attack directly, and when he does battle damage, your opponent can't activate any spell, trap, or monster effects. So if your opponent has a clear field, you go ahead, you attack with Watt Giraffe. No Tragodia, no Gores. It just gets over too much in this metagame right now. Then we go on to 3 Watt Dragonflies. Watt Dragonfly is pretty much your Empress Blade for the deck, except for he doesn't have to go to the graveyard or remove from play. As soon as he's destroyed, you can go ahead and you can search another Watt. Then we go into 3 Watt Hoppers. Alright, Watt Hopper is a lock. I really like it a lot in this meta, because if you do go against meta decks that have, or main deck Deep Prison or things like that, you can pretty much get over it with no problem. Or the Watt Hopper lock, your opponent can attack, and they also can't target you. So you don't have to worry about things like Bryonic. The only thing you pretty much have to worry about is Trishula, because Trishula doesn't target. Alright, and because it's a competitive build, we have 2 Thunder King Ryos. A smart player can still use Thunder King Ryos, Pots, Watt Cobras in the same deck. All you have to do is just play around it. And in this meta, to go ahead and if they do bring out a Trishula, to use Thunder King to pop it off and negate him coming out is still good. Then we have 2 Effect Veilers. Yes, they are ultimate. The 2 Effect Veilers work the same way. Once you have a Watt lock on the field, which is the 2 Watt Hoppers, pretty much all you have to worry about is Trish and Black Rose Dragon. Those are your only 2 real big monsters that people will be using in their deck that just destroys the field as a whole, which gets past the lock. So Effect Veiler stops both of those. So we have 2 of those. Because everything is light, we have 1 Honest, self-explanatory, and then my own personal tech with Spirit Reaper. In my meta right now, I have a lot of people that can actually afford the Rescue Rabbit deck, and Rescue Rabbit, it has kind of a hard time against Spirit Reaper, so I decided to put Spirit Reaper in here. Alright, as far as the magics go, we have 1, 2, 3 Pot of Dualities. Searching for key things that you need, such as defensive traps to go ahead and keep your Watts on the field is very good. And we have 1 Swords of Revealing Light. I didn't use Message of Peace. I didn't really like it, so I decided to use Swords instead. But Swords is just pretty much hold your opponent back for 3 turns. It's good MST bait. I can have this out, have another trap set, so that if they hit this, then I don't have to worry about the trap getting hit. Then we have 2 MSTs. The reason I have 2 MSTs is because if I don't have the Watt Hopper lock, I need to get rid of certain things. And if I do play decks that use Skill Drain, I want to get that off the field as soon as possible. Game 1 is very important to me, and after you see my side deck, you understand why I want to get my first win with Game 1, and then going to Game 2, I just sat into a different deck. And then we still have staples. We have 1 Monster Reborn, self-explanatory, 1 1-for-1. With Watt Cobra, going ahead and getting any monster that you need that has Watt in his name, I can pretty much use that Watt that Cobra searched for with 1-for-1 to go ahead and try to go into my Hopper lock even faster. And then we have 1 recycling batteries. Recycling batteries has the same effect like Gravekeeper Stele. Just pretty much bring back 2 Thunder Monsters. It's pretty good if you're using Watt Cancel in your deck. Then for the traps, we have the Solemn Brigade. No need to explain that. We have 2 Watt Cancels. After play testing, I'm probably going to go down to 1. Watt Cancel is still good, but I like to have the hand advantage. I don't like to always get rid of one of my Watt monsters in order to negate the summon, because it's pretty much a -1 no matter how you look at it. It's just that Watt Cobra just gives you advantage anytime he's able to attack directly. So I'm probably going to drop this down to 1. Then we have 3 Threatening Roars. 3 Threatening Roars is amazing. It gets past, you know, it helps with the GB matchup, which is still a hard matchup. All it pretty much does is tell your opponent you cannot attack. So while you're setting up for your big plays, for your giraffes with your cobras, it just works so well. And then because you can only have 3 Threatening Roars, if I could run more I would. I have 2 Wabacools. Pretty much does the same thing except for my monster stays on the field. And then because of the fact that a lot of people that are smart, they'll continuously put out monsters just because of the fact that eventually when they're able to attack you, they can go ahead, they can attack your cobras or any of your wild monsters and then just keep going and then inflicting damage on you. Put in 2 deep prisons. I like to keep things off the board, as well as the bottomless. That's why I have 2 of those. And then I have Starlight Road. Starlight Road pretty much just makes sure that if they use Heavy Storm, when I have out like Soras, a bottomless set, it pretty much makes sure that it stays on the field. Alright. Now, this is pretty much a Watt. It's like a Watt stun control deck. So, as you see, you pretty much don't synchro much, but I do have a synchro deck in case you do decide to synchro. Get you out of any situation. So the first one we have is Formula Synchron, which is pretty much an Effect Veiler and a Watt Hopper. Then we have Armory Arm, which is easy to make. I have my Spirit Reaper, which is 3, and I have an Effect Veiler. And then for bigger things, we have Catastor, Bionic, Orient Dragon, Black Rose, Ancient Fairy Dragon. I use that a lot when I'm going against Dark Worlds. Have the Stardust because we run Starlight Road. 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Mistworm. Unfortunately, right now I don't have a Trish. I just got rid of it for a good trade, so right now I'm using Mistworm instead. I'm using Chimera Tech because a lot of decks that do use Zen mains first turn, I like to go ahead and I like to Cyber Dragon, Contact Fusion, get that off the field. I have a 2000 beater out. We have Gachi Gachi for the Dragonflies, and then for the level 4s, we had 2 Utopia and 1 Steel Swarm Roach. Alright, now on to the extra deck. Alright, from what you can see, I pretty much go into an anti-meta version of Watts. It's been working pretty good, been catching people off guard. So we have 2 Cyber Dragons for Karakuri and for those Zen main plays. Then we have 2 Fossil Diner. Fossil Diner is good in this meta. When people see a set card, they pretty much just think that, especially when they have big special summon monsters on the field, they pretty much think they're just going to run over it. So we're having Fossil Diner down, they run over it, kill all their monsters. Next turn, I can set up my own plays. I have 1 extra MST for Skill Drain, Dark World matchups. Then I have 2 D-Fishes. I've been thinking about maining these in the main board because they are so amazing. It hits so much of the meta right now. So I tell you like this, even if you don't decide to run a Watt deck, any deck that can run D-Fisher main board is pretty much a good deck because it's going to hurt so much of the meta. Then I have 2 Leech in the Light. This is what's been getting me over against so many matchups, especially the Agents or the Hero anti-meta decks, because all your Watts can attack directly. So to take their attack points, have my Watts on the field, and then use all their attack points, it pretty much gets me game. Then I have 2 Rivalry of the Warlords for the plant matchup. I decided to put in 2 Royal Decree. A lot of people won't do this, but I have a lot of burn decks in my meta. And Royal Decree pretty much just screws all that over, especially with that new chain burn crap that's out. So have Royal Decree. And then last but not least, because I hate Dark Worlds, I have 2 debunks. It works well. You can use it against their dark smog. You can use it when they're trying to get the graph effect. You can use it against so much. So as of right now, this is just version 1 of Watts. Hope you guys like it. Expect version 2 real soon.